Hello guys and girls, and welcome to a new Keyforge deck discussion video. This time we are looking at the third deck in this series, which is Homer, das beidhändige Einauge. Like I can suggest from the name, it is a German deck, but of course we can, through this website of Keyforge, we can look at the site in English, so no worries if you do not understand. This record I have right here with 2 and 2, that's once again just offline play. Online this deck did very well, currently only a 50-50 record, of course nothing too fancy. But yeah, there were some bad luck things involved. But either way, this record does not show how good this deck is, in my opinion at least. I mean, I might have just been lucky in the online matches, who knows? And this is like the actual representation of how the deck goes. But yeah, this is the deck we're gonna use in the next few gameplay videos. And so let's just go over it real quick. So it composed of Logos, Mars, and Shadows. So the first Shadows deck I'm gonna feature in the series. But let's start from left to right. So we start with Logos and. First off, we have two lab works. Lab works gain just Aember when playing and archive a card. This is gonna be a key mechanic of the deck to just archive a card. There's a lot of archiving going on in this deck in general, and through that we can set cards aside for specific combos. But I will talk about them once we see them. Like I said, two lab works, very important. We got a phase shift, very nice. You may play one non-Logos card this turn. This is a very splashable card in Logos. You always want to see that in your Logos build because it can always be useful. It's not a card which is like very specific. This can always be useful. Doesn't matter even what the other factions are. Just playing a non-Logos card in your Logos turn is good. Then we got Reverse Time, one of the two rares in this deck, and actually the better rare of the two. It's gives an Aember when playing, and swap your deck and your discard pile, then shuffle your deck. This is very nice if you have only a very small discard pile. Like you played like 2 to 3 cards, and then you play this, and you can basically get these 3 cards back, and then you can just get your deck back. You can shuffle it. So that's like the best use of it. Like you play a key card, and then after you play Reverse Time, you get back to your deck, and then you have the key card again. Bait and switch being one of the main ones. But yeah, very nice rare. Like I said, you have to, like, if it's like 50-50, what is in your a discard pile in your deck, it's like kind of a like. Okay, I played this card and I draw the same cards again. Like, I guess it could be nice, but the proper timing of this card is important. You can't just throw it anywhere. Like, sometimes you do because you want the Aember, but the timing is important with this card. Then we got Sloppy Lab Work. Once again, we can archive, get an Aember again, but this time we have to discard a card as well. This sometimes can be nice if you want to empty out your hand to draw more other cards. So in these scenarios, Sloppy Lab Work is better than Lab Work, and the good thing is, since you archive first and then discard, if you happen to only have 2 cards in your hand, you play Sloppy Artwork, you archive the other one, then you don't have to discard other cards since you don't have any cards in hand. So yeah, you first archive, then you discard. Then you got the Wild Wormhole, gives you an Aember and play the top card of your deck, pretty straightforward as well. Of course, it's a bit lucky what happens. Like I had some turns where I got like a bait and switch and didn't got any Aember, and wasting your bait and switch through that is very bad, but usually you just get a free card and an Aember, so why not? It's a decent card. Then we got Brain Eater, 6 power creature. After creature is destroyed, fighting Brain Eater, draw a card. So yeah, some card draw with strong creature. There are some nice combos as well, but other cards where we go over that. Next up we got Dexter, and Dexter, no one likes Dexter, and I learned to know why. Dexter, the destroyed, put Dexter on top of your deck thing. Like, I would prefer if it's just a 3 power creature which captures 1. I actually would prefer that. I hate this effect that it got on top of your deck because that limits your draws. You always draw Dexter, you already know what's happening. If you need a specific card to counter the opponent's board, or you just want to draw something new, and Dexter's there again. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Dexter. If you have 2 of these in the deck, I hate your Logos side already. But yeah, Dexter is there, can't capture 1, sometimes it's useful. And yeah, just that it comes back is kind of annoying. For me, as playing him, actually. Then we got Dr. Escutera. You already know this card as well. 4 power, gain 2 Aember for each forge your opponent has, so you get 1 to 2 Aember when playing this card. And on that, still 4 power creature, pretty straightforward. Then we got to Ganymede, Archivist, and more archiving in this. We can reap and archive a card. And of course he has to live a turn, and we have to call Logos again. Before we can use this effect, but there's some good protection going on. Like here, I'm a bit sick, sorry for that. But yeah, 3 power creature, very nice to hit that threshold so we don't die to all these 2 damage cards. Then we got Quicksort Adventurer, you already know this card as well. I like it a lot. Skirmish, fight, and draw cards, so just some card draw. And then a very nice card in Logos, which is Mother. During your draw step, you reveal your hand to 1 additional card, so yeah, you draw always 1 more card. And the good thing is you play this card on the same turn the effect already happens, because you draw at the end. So you play this card and then you can have 7 cards at the end of the turn. So yeah, that's the Logos side. Now we'll go on to the Mars side. We got Battlefleet. You have to an Aember and reveal any number of Mars cards from your hand. For each card revealed this way, draw a card. Next up, Mothership Support. For each friendly Mars card creature, ready, that's important, it has to be ready. You do 2 damage to a creature, gains an Aember as well. and the orbital bombardment. Reveal any amount of mass cards from your hand. For each card revealed this way, deal damage to a creature. That's where the archiving already comes into play. What I like to do for all the archiving cards is to archive a lot of mass cards. Then once I have Battle Fleet, get them all in my hand, play the Battle Fleet, show my opponent all of them, draw a lot of cards, and then if I have orbital bombardment as well, I can reveal once again the more cards I have, because I drew a lot with Battle Fleet, and do a lot of damage to the board, and then just play all my mass cards. And yeah, that's a nice turn I like to do. Like, when in doubt with Leverage, I'm like, just archive your mass cards for a big mass turn with like Battle Fleet plus orbital bombardment. Mothership support, not too big a fan of this card because they have to be ready, so your mass creatures have to survive. So usually you do like 2 or 4 damage because you have 2 mass creatures, which are ready already. So yeah, but you get Aember, so it's decent. Then we got Soft Landing. The next creature artifact you play is turn and display ready, so that's already the combo with Mothership support. Like you play this, play mass creature, and then with Mothership you can do 2 damage immediately. And then you got Crystal Hive, which is very nice for the remainder of the turn. Gain again 1 Aember each time a creature reaps. So basically, the only way we can activate this is by calling Mass. We don't have anything else in the deck. If you call Mass and you reap with your Mass creatures, you get 2 Aember per reaping, which can be very impactful. Just 3 Mass creatures is already key, so that's a very nice artifact. And then we got Feeding Pit, the other rare. Discard a creature from your hand if you do gain 1 Aember. I don't know why this is a rare. Like I said, a lot of times Keyforge, the rares are not the best cards. It's decent, like it's a good effect. Like you have the options to discard a card and gain discard a creature and gain Aember. But I don't really know if that justifies being a rare. But yes, this is an artifact, which you will see later, is good for the deck as well. And then for the mass creatures, we got a Mind Warper, elusive, so he has to be attacked twice. Sadly, only 2 power. Choose an enemy creature, it captures 1 from its own side. That's basically just, if you manage to kill the creature as well, that's basically stealing. Like you get an Aember from the opponent's pool into the creature, you kill the creature, and then you get the Aember. So it's stealing with a little bit of with a detour basically, because you have to get rid of the creature as well. So then we got Exilibolter, fight and rape, deal 2 damage to a creature. If this damage destroyed the creature, purge it. Very nice card. Like I said, 2 damage is very nice to get rid of some creatures, like stuff like the Mind War, for example, because this damage is not prevented by elusive, and you can get it by reaping or fighting, and he himself has 3 power, so he doesn't die to all these things. So yeah, we got the Bolter right here. Then we got the the Dominator, very important card with the taunt to protect some of our cards, like I already said, like these 2 for example. And yeah, he enters the game stunned, which is of course the downside since you can't attack or reap with him right away, but the taunting already happens, so you can, most of the times, I take a long time till I actually unstun this card, because the protecting thing, it doesn't matter if he's stunned or not, since even if my opponent creatures attacks him, he still does the 9 damage, so he does already protect, even though he's stunned, so that's nice. Then 2 biometrics backup. Theoretically more archiving, so instead of the discard power we can get even more archiving going on. We get an Aember for playing that as well, so yeah, like I said, a lot of archiving in this deck. And then we got a Maverick Shadow Self, so this is actually a Mars Shadow Self, not a Shadow one. That's what this little symbol on the right is telling you right here. So yeah, some more protection. What I like with Shadow Self is especially is playing this next to the Dominator, because usually Shadow Self, just like you see, Shadow Self deals more damage when fighting, and damage dealt to non-spec, the neighbors is dealt to Shadow Self instead. So he protects his neighbors. But if, for example, I have a Brain Eater next to it, my opponent attacks the Brain Eater, he gets 6 damage, and the damage Brain Eater would get Shadow Self instead. But if he directly attacks Shadow Self, my opponent gets no damage, and all the damage goes to Shadow Self. So what I like to do with that is play that next to my Dominator, because then they have to attack the Dominator, they get 9 damage on the creature, but the damage the Dominator would get goes to the Shadow Self instead, so my Dominator stays alive. So yeah, basically they can't attack Shadow Self for free, that's what I'm talking about here. But yeah, that's Shadow Self. Then for our Shadow side, we got first Bait and Switch, key Shadow card, probably one of the best cards in the game. If your opponent has more Aember than you, steal 1, repeat this card's effect if your opponent still has more Aember than you. So you can theoretically steal so much Aember in one turn with this card. It's one of the most loved, the most hated card, depending if you have it or your opponent has it. And yeah, if your Shadow side has this card, it's already a lot better. This, like I said, most likely one of the best cards in the game, and being just a common, so it's in a lot of decks. Then we got Hit Stash, which is basically the same as Lab Work, just from the Shadow side. You get an Aember and you can archive a card. Like I said, a lot of archiving. Then we got Pawn Sacrifice. You get an Aember in the place. Sacrifice a friendly creature. If you do, deal 3 damage to 2 creatures, which is very nice. You have to sacrifice a creature, but like you can see later, that's not as bad as it seems. Then we got a Seeker Needle, another artifact. Action, deal 1 damage to the creature. If this damage to the creature is destroyed, gain 1 Aember. And there's a nice combo going there as well. If you know Keyforge, you already saw the combo by just looking at the cards. But basically, if you kill a creature, It doesn't have to be opponent's one. You can kill your own as well with 1 damage to gain that Aember, and that's very important for the card coming up. Then we got Skeleton Key, another artifact. A friendly creature captures 1, so it's basically a way of just getting rid of Aember from your opponent's side. One of the creatures can capture it. And through like the Dominator and the 2 Shadow Selves, because like you see right here, I have a regular Shadow Self on the Shadow side as well, we can have our cards very nice protected, so this Aember is, for the opponent, will be hard to get. Then the last artifact on the Shadow side is the Subtle Maul. Just action your opponent discards a card from random at your hand. Very nice card. Like I said, I like these discards cards, especially if your opponent has chains and already has less cards in the hand than 6. You discard another one, only 4 cards, or even less if they have more chains. A big fan of that. And now to one of the important cards in Shadows is Bad Penny. 1 power creature, destroyed. Return Bad Penny back to your hand. So not top of your deck, this time it goes into your hand, which is very nice because with that's the combo potential. With Pawn Sacrifice, I sacrifice this, get it back to my hand, can just play it on board again since I call Shadow, and I can get free damage on them. Same with Seeker Needle. I can play the Bad Penny, kill it, get Aember, just play Bad Penny again, and yeah, if Bad Penny's on the board, I can actually reap with it, kill it with Seeker Needle, then get it back to my hand. Very nice combo right there. Then we got Carlo Phantom, elusive and skirmish with only 1 power, so very weak. But each time you play an artifact, steal 1. And like I already saw, this deck actually has a nice amount of artifacts. There's 5 artifacts in total, 3 on the Shadow side, so it's very nice. So I can play Carlo Phantom and play basically 3 artifacts and steal 3 in a turn, which is huge. That's a 6 Aember difference in 1 turn. And then I have 2 more artifacts in right here, Crystal Hive and Feeding Pit. Sadly, the Logger side doesn't have any artifacts, so yeah, good amount of artifacts. So this effect actually can trigger at least once every game. Then we got Nexus. Elusive, reap, use an opponent's artifact as yours. This is like a most situational card, depends on if your opponent has artifacts and if it's an artifact which is useful. But in general, it's a 3 power elusive creature, so that's nice. But like I said, the effect depends on what your opponent already has, if it's useful or if it's not useful. And Shadow Self, we already got all of that. And then we got, last but not least, 2 Umbras, Skirmish, Fight, and Steal 1. So these always die very quickly because they don't actually have elusive, they only have Skirmish, so they only have to be attacked. But with the 2 Shadow Selves and the Dominator, I can protect them usually for a few turns, and they can actually get a good amount of stealing going on. So yeah, that's this deck in total. Like I said, a lot of archiving, a lot of nice cards and stealing right here. And yeah, what I like with archiving is just to put your cards aside. Like a key card I want to archive as well is like Bait and Switch, because you want to wait for the correct turn to play this card. Like you just forge a key, your opponent has 6 Embers, going to forge again, play Bait and Switch, you both end up with 3 Aember. And yeah, you're way ahead again, since you already have a key. That's why this card is usually clocks your hand, because you want that devastating turn to play the Bait and Switch. You don't want to have it in your hand just waiting, because you could have other cards in hand, and that's why archiving this card can very be nice. And yeah, this is like one of the key cards I want to archive. Other things I like to archive are my artifacts as well, like my Seeker Needle, Skeleton Key, stuff like that, for when the turn caps, when I draw Carlo Phantom. I can play Carlo Phantom, play my artifacts, and steal one as well. But like I already mentioned, other things, just when in doubt, archive one of your Mars creatures to get the Battle Fleet Orbital Bombardment combo going. But yeah, that's the deck in total. Like I said, we will see some gameplay with that in the next few videos. But yeah, that's all for this. Let me know in the comments what you think about the deck. And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. And hit me on Twitter, Facebook. All links in the description. And I will see you another time. Ciao.